There. I think we've got it all stabilized and we're at normal now. So good afternoon and welcome to another of the many virtual events the Chamber has planned for you this year. Before we get started, I'd like to recognize that we are privileged to live, work, and play on the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, specifically Nanaimo, Suminis, and Stanawas nations. Chamber's virtual events will be focused on the crazy times we're working hard to push through by helping you find new resources to support your business, new ways of keeping customers through the pandemic, and by sharing inspirational and motivational sessions such as we have today. I want to remind you to please keep your cameras off and your mics muted. That will allow us to maintain the broadest bandwidth possible and also prevent against unwanted distractions. I'd like to turn it over now to Mark Haratanian from Telus. Mark is a small business account specialist. He acts as a single point of contact for Telus clients to ensure they receive the highest value across all Telus services, including fiber, internet, premise security, and cell phone plans. His other job is to introduce our speaker. So please take it away, Mark.
Yes, thank you so much for the lovely intro. Hello, everybody. My name is Mark. Yeah, we're proud to be partnered with the Greater Nanaimo Chamber of Commerce. I'm here to be your single point of contact for your business needs. And, you know, I take care of all solutions when it comes to small business, including fiber internet, copper internet, our premise security system, also, you know, simple phone lines, all the way to our voice over IP system called Business Connect, which has become very popular during the pandemic. Basically, it's where your phone lines run on the internet, which allows for greater capabilities, much more features. And it also allows for things like video conferencing, just like this. And that's something I really like to do with my customers is do video conferencing when we're talking about their needs. Yeah, just a little bit about myself. You know, I grew up with a family that had a small business. My dad owned a little jewelry manufacturing company. And so I understand the needs of small businesses, right? And the challenges that they face. So I'm happy to help. Don't forget, Telus has donated some AirPods. I can't really see it here with the white on white background, but we have some AirPods to give away for a contest. We'll post the link in the chat here so you can follow and enter for a chance to win. Yeah, great little set of AirPods. My contact info will also be posted in there. Please feel free to reach out to me via email or my phone, and I'll be happy to help. I know we don't have a lot of time, but are there any quick questions?
Mark, maybe we could remind people to enter any questions that they have during the course of Isabelle's talk into the chat room, and then we'll pull those out or we'll have them available to Isabelle at the end of the session.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Well, if anybody has any questions on, you know, on the fiber network in Nanaimo, please feel free to reach out and I can explain how to get that to your business. Okay. All right, so let's introduce our speaker, Isabelle. Isabelle is a no-nonsense dynamo, born to catapult passionate entrepreneurs and thought leaders to build businesses and brands designed to make life better. As one of North America's top business influencers, best-selling author, two-time TEDx speaker with over 2.5 million views, and TV show host, Isabelle brings over 25 years of branding, marketing, and customer experience expertise. She co-founded her first seven-figure business a few years out of her teens and quickly became one of the most awarded branding firms in Canada, including Canada's Best SME Entrepreneur of the Year. Isabelle is a fitness fanatic, and from being an avid yogi to deadlifting over 250 pounds. Woo! Please join me in welcoming brand strategist, best-selling author, and motorcycle lover, Isabelle Mercier-Turcotte.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you, Mark, for the introduction. And thank you for all of what Telus does to help us be in business and be able to deliver our genius. So thank you for that. I'm super happy to be here today. And I will make this time as valuable as possible for everyone present. And by the way, thank you for taking the time out of your busy day. I know we're all very busy. So thank you for showing up live. And this is going to be a bit of a different presentation. I'm going to take half of the time to deliver some really good content. And it's not just going to be me speaking for an hour. We're going to open it up to questions and power coaching and laser coaching for those of you who want to actually take advantage of free coaching. Why not, right? Why not? So I'm going to deliver this in under 30 minutes so that we can actually have sometimes some really good time for laser coaching. And I sincerely hope that you will take full advantage of this opportunity, and you got nothing to lose and absolutely everything to gain at this point. So I want to start by sharing a fact that most people struggle to find their emotional centers in the best of times, right? Let alone in uncertain, chaotic times. And in difficult times like right now, what takes over? Fear takes over, anxiety takes over, worry takes over. And these emotions can paralyze us and steal from our focus. They can steal from our good habits and our sense of peace and purpose and our well-being. And I'm sure that you've experienced that. You can all agree with me here. I'm positive. Well, I happen to believe that right here, right now, every single one of you and me, we're all given an opportunity here to level up, and level up starting with our mindset. The question is, though, are we willing to actually leverage this opportunity? I know I am, I know I have, and I know that you're here, therefore you are also open to leverage that opportunity. And here's the thing, your success, whether in business or in life, is a direct reflection of your inner beliefs and of your thoughts, because your beliefs fuel your thoughts fuel your actions, and of course your actions dictate the results that you create. And this is somewhat woo-woo, and I'm going to make this very non-woo-woo for everybody here today so that we're all on the same woo-woo, non-woo-woo page. Because at the end of the day, crisis is sometimes the only way that massive change happens on this planet. Have you ever wondered why nothing seemed to get done fast in government offices, banks and hospitals? Regulations and bureaucracy in those places make change next to bloody impossible to do. But what creates fast change? It's one word. One word creates fast change, and that word is necessity. COVID-19 right now is that necessity, is the necessity needed for breaking down the unhealthy status quo and bureaucracy and to create good, positive change. And yes, the process is hurting. Totally get that. And no, it's not fun. Change is not always fun. Everyone is affected one way or another by COVID. But let's look at the positive side for a second. You know, medical regulations are being relaxed to speed up COVID detection and immunization efforts, right? Insurance companies are now providing coverage for remote medical checkups. This is like huge. This would have been a 10-year exercise, you know, of stupid paperwork. And yet it happened within 48 hours when COVID hit. And the mortgage industry is now allowing electronic loans to be processed, and paperwork suddenly is not really needed to be signed in person. Finally, is all I can say, right? Our archaic educational system is magically becoming significantly more online friendly, and organizations that didn't allow their employees to work from home are now forced to do it. And not only that, but they're actually seeing that there's huge benefits to that. Small business owners are now selling their products and services online and now have gained clients worldwide instead of just next door. COVID-19 has already created dramatic change for the better. And yes, the process is hurting. And yes, it's hurting some people, some businesses, and some industries a hell of a lot more than others. I'll grant you that. But some of these changes are insanely positive for entrepreneurs and necessary for you and your clients to get massive returns from what the future will bring. And the future will not be the same as it was before. It's not going to go back to normal. There will be a new normal for that. And the new normal can be good for you should you choose to elevate and reinvent instead of just survive. So I'm just a quick little bit about me. I'm known as the Simon Cowell of branding and business growth. And, if you know this guy, I still choose to see this as a huge compliment because he sure knows how to spot and catapult talent forward. I just choose to think that I'm a little bit more fashionable than he is and a hell of a lot friendlier, I'll tell you that. So in the past 25 years, as Mark said earlier, I've created a 7-figure branding agency right out of my teens. I've created a 7-figure coaching business. I've produced and hosted the #1 branding online TV show called Leap TV. If you don't know about Leap TV, it's completely free, leaptv.com. I've worked with large iconic brands like HSBC, A&W, IMAX. I've also worked with small local heroes that are just simply amazing and inspiring and that are doing great things to better the planet and better their clients' lives. And let me tell you, I have been through my fair share of reinvention, pivots, and mindset strengthening for sure within my 25 years plus in business. And I've done so totally successfully with hundreds of entrepreneurs and thought leaders around the world. Reinventing and repositioning is certainly not easy, and it can actually be scary because it brings up a lot of unknowns and uncertainties and blind spots. And one thing is for sure, it's also incredibly rewarding. And 99.9% of the time, it leads to something better, which we all want. But for that to happen, you need to have the right mindset and you need to continually practice smart that's hard to say, smart mindset strengthening habits. Because mindset is a muscle that needs to be worked on. So on the agenda today, I will share where fear comes from and how to leverage fear to your advantage. I will also share the #1 question that you need to answer to play to win rather than play not to lose. There's a big difference there. And I'm going to share the 3 pivotal shifts to help you stay focused and empowered to grow and thrive despite of what's happening in the world right now. I will also have, you'll also have the opportunity to get some free Q&A period, right? Some free coaching. And I'll share with you also a few resources to help you implement what you learned today, because knowing something is one thing. Implementing it is what gets, truly what gets results, right? And today, I want everybody to move from common sense to common practice. Common sense to common practice. All right, so crisis equals danger plus opportunity. What do I mean by that? I mean, in every problem, therein lies the next solution. And in every solution, therein lies the next big problem to solve. So let's look at the past for a minute. In the past 150 years, there's been many huge changes, massive crises, and unexpected events that have created new normals and have shaped our reality today. The computer, as a result of the computer, the typewriter died. The smartphone was invented. Landlines are dying. iPods, iPads killed the Walkman and the portable CD player. Remember those? Awesome yellow Walkman? Oh my God. Video streaming nowadays, killed rental stores. Rental stores, dead. Microwave ovens, the internet, video game consoles, Uber, Starbucks, software memberships. Every one of those inventions has created massive business growth for some and complete death for others. Why is that? Right? Why are some companies born or grow exponentially during times of change while others die? The answer is cheese. Who moved my cheese? Crap. There used to be a pile of cheese right here. Where did it go? Right? Who Moved My Cheese, by the way, is a great little book by Spence Johnson about understanding change and leveraging it to create something even better. But let's face it, there are a few ways that we can deal with change. We can fret about losing the cheese, or we can venture to find new cheese. The thing is, change happens. The cheese will always be moving. It will always be moving. Sometimes the cheese moves a few inches. Sometimes it moves a few 100,000 kilometers. It will always move. So the key is to be on your toes, expecting for the cheese to move instead of worrying about it, or worse, fearing it to move, because it will move. So let's talk about fear for a second. Let's understand where fear comes from, because when we can understand something, we can actually do something about it. So fear comes from three distinct categories: the fear of loss, the fear of struggle, and the fear of outcome. We've all experienced loss in our lives: loss of money, life, comfort, material. We've all gone through losing something or someone important in our life. And yet, here we are, we're still here, and I'll bet to venture that, we're most likely all stronger for it. The fear of struggle. Nobody likes struggle. Nobody wakes up in the morning going, today I want to make my day a living hell. No, nobody likes struggle. Struggle sucks. But when we go through struggle, and we've all gone through struggle before, we know that we come out of it stronger. And this. The key is to honor the struggle instead of avoiding it, right? We call it going through the door of confusion, is always brings the ability to bring clarity and bring rewards that are far better than what we could ever imagine. And then the fear of outcome. We don't like bad outcomes. Of course not. Bad outcomes also suck. And yet we spend a hell of a lot of time and energy talking about or anticipating or worrying about things that we don't want. And I remember my TEDx, if some of you have seen my first TEDx talk, for 7 months, I worried about forgetting my script on stage. I worried about it so much, and my talk is about worry on top of it. Like, just the irony of that does not go unnoticed. But I worried about losing my place in my head and my script so much that what happened in the first 6 minutes? Yep, I lost my script. And I made it fun. I made it an audience engagement strategy it was actually fun. But that was my biggest fear. And of course I made it true. I worried a lot about it. So the key is to understand that we need to be more curious and think about things with an explorator mind in order to go through that fear. And when we understand where the fear comes from, we can actually go, hey, what am I worrying about right now? Is it loss? Is it struggle? Is it outcome? And when you have that awareness, you can actually do something about it. So there's one question that people are asking themselves right now a lot. And the question is, how am I going to get through this, right? How am I going to get through COVID and all the shit that COVID is bringing? And the problem with this question is that it leads to thinking from a place of fear instead of thinking from a place of curiosity. I'd like to bring a better question to ask. And that better question is, what am I going to change to get through this and possibly even 10x my business? What am I willing to do? What am I willing to explore? What am I willing to commit to create for my clients, right? What am I willing to create for my clients, for my community, for my industry, so that I can find new sources of cheese, so that I can actually find even better cheese? See, focusing on growing exponentially gets your mind off of thinking small, right? It gets your mind thinking bigger, thinking about what's most important, thinking about 10xing versus surviving. And that makes a big difference. And that's a mindset that really does have made a big difference in my company and in all the clients that we work with. So what am I going to change to get through this and possibly 10x my business as a result? So now let's talk about the 3 pivotal mindset shifts that, when implemented, will make a very big difference in helping you stay inspired and empowered to make a positive change in your life and, of course, in your business, therefore creating different results. And there are 12 pivotal mindset shifts that the top 2% of successful people live by. And my partner Margarita and I teach those in our Mindset Mastery Code program. And I will let you know how you can get your hot little hands on that game-changing program a little later in my presentation. But for now, what I want to do is focus on talking about the first pivotal mindset shift. The first shift is choose your emotional tone. See, you can choose to add to the internal and external panic, or you can choose to adopt the role model mindset and stay calm, centered, and focused on what truly matters. You can participate in the drama, or you can grow by facing it, and calmly doing the reinvention and the innovation work that is required to conquer it. So said differently, are you playing to win, or are you playing not to lose? There's a big difference in mindset here. There's a big difference in attitude and in actions from this differentiation here, playing to win versus playing not to lose. Someone playing not to lose will often make poor, nearsighted, fear-based decisions, whereas someone who's playing to win will make decisions that are founded on facts, past facts as well, right? Facts, as well as what matters most now and how that will affect the close and distant future. In other words, someone that plays to win can approach any situation with this very important question. Who is the situation calling me to become? You see, when you approach each challenge with that question in mind, right? Who is this situation calling me to become? You're focusing on elevating yourself and finding new solutions rather than focusing on the fear and the problem. That is playing to win rather than playing not to lose. And that starts with choosing your emotional tone and adopting the role model mindset. I hope that makes sense so far, and I hope that you're absorbing that. You might have heard this before, and that's okay. Let's go from common sense to common practice. Now let's look at the second pivotal mindset shift. Learning to eliminating worry. See, worry is a very simple word, 5-letter word, and it's used every single day by the entire, or at least the majority of the entire human race, like every day. Yet this word has the power to kill. Worry kills creativity, it kills individuality, it kills performance, and worst of all, worry kills your ability to dream and to innovate. What's worry? Worry is, to me, it's giving way to anxiety, right? It's opening the door to anxiety and unease. And that never leads you anywhere great. And I want to give you a little reality check here. 40% of what we worry about on a regular basis has already happened. Total waste of time. It's already happened. Nothing you can do about it. You can learn from it, but there's no sense of worrying about it. It's already happened. 30%, get this, 30% of what we worry about will never happen. What a waste of time and energy, right? Energy that you could spend working on something better. 12% are needless worries about our health. Right? Like you get a headache for 3 days and suddenly, boom, you think you have cancer. And then if you consult Dr. Google, then you go from having cancer to having 6 months left to live, right? That's kind of how the brain works. It just goes from bad to worse to devastating. 10% of what we worry about are petty, miscellaneous worries. Nothing like, what are we going to make for dinner? Or how am I going to dress for this event? Like petty. So if you're calculating this, it leaves 8% for legitimate worries, which means 92% of what we worry about is a total waste of energy that keeps us from actually being at our best. Worrying is like, truly to me, worrying, it would be like trying to solve algebra by chewing bubble gum. Makes absolutely no sense, right? So how can you eliminate, or at the very minimum, start reducing worry in your life? Because the space that worry takes is space that you don't have to innovate, right? So one, you're not going to like this, but this is good, by eliminating, and yes, I said eliminating, your media exposure. Yep, you heard it right. I have watched the news 3 times in my life. 9/11 was one of them. And I will tell you, my mindset is bloody strong and my business is really strong as a result of my mindset. And I don't waste a lot of time fearing the crap that's being promoted in the news. Now, 2 is by understanding. So 1, eliminating your media exposure. Don't have a heart attack. You can start by reducing. You don't have to cut cold turkey, although that would be better. So the second one is understanding that what you tolerate, you will always end up worrying about. Meaning what you say yes to, when you should say no to, or what to say no to, is what you'll eventually tolerate, and what you tolerate will sooner or later, I promise you this, drive you to absolutely worry. But the thing is, why do we tolerate so much? We tolerate because we don't want to disappoint others. We tolerate because we don't want to create conflicts. We have a fear of saying no. We don't want to lose, right? We have a fear of losing something. We certainly want to avoid difficult conversations. Sometimes we just don't want to open a can of worms, and sometimes we just don't know we're tolerating something. We just don't know. In my opinion, tolerating is the #1 bulb dimmer, worry creator, and performance killer of all times. What if you took all that energy, right? That 92% that you use on a regular basis to worry about stuff that are not important, has happened, will never happen, and all that. What if we repurpose that to do something good, right? Something positive or something tangible that would help you and your clients. So I suggest that you make a list of 15 things that you're tolerating in your life and in your business, big or small, doesn't matter. It might be a leaking tap, a remote that doesn't work. Like it could be a high paying client that's super high maintenance. Either way, just make a list of 15 things. And every week I challenge you to at least bust one. Just take one, and no matter what, just resolve it. Resolve the toleration to reduce your worry. I guarantee you it'll make a big difference. All right, now the third pivotal shift is committing to success. See, committing to success in the face of obstacles and holding steady when the world is rocking is absolutely key. See, when confronted with a challenge, the committed heart searches for a solution, right? While the undecided heart searches for an escape. This is a great quote from Andy Andrews, and it's so true. Commitment is the state or quality of being dedicated to a cause or an activity, right? So it's the commitment to a cause or an activity. That's commitment. And by the way, commitment is not an act. It's an act, sorry. It's not a word. It's an act. It's an act that gets demonstrated every day. And as our coaches here say at Leap Zone, we say today is the day to focus 100% on what we want and 0% on what we don't want, no matter what is happening in the world. See, the universe provides what you think most about, period. I mean, we could end right here. So if you spend your time worrying or thinking about the things you don't want, guess what? You're just going to attract a hell of a lot more of that. Chaos brings the necessity for hyper focus. Holding steady when the world is rocking. This is what it's all about. And at Leap Zone, we have a thing. We say we're focused and steady, aligned and ready, right? Focus and steadiness to be able to stand strong when it's time to stand strong, and alignment and readiness to move quickly, swiftly, right? When it's time to make a move. So let me ask you, what is your definition of success? First, you got to know that. What's your definition of success? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how committed are you to making that happen? And on a scale of 1 to 10, how are your daily actions? Are they in alignment with your commitment to succeeding? You know, most of the time when we look under the hood of a business, and if the business owner understands and knows their objectives, which is rare, but even if they know their objectives, when we ask them, how much time and effort and energy do you actually invest to reach your objectives? The answer is always less than 3%, which means that a lot of actions are taken to go somewhere, but nowhere where you want to be, which doesn't help, right? Doesn't help. All right. So choose your emotional tone. Learn to eliminate worry. Commit to success. And as I said before, there are 12 pivotal mindset shifts and habits and strategies that have been absolute game changers for us and our clients to stay present, to stay focused, and to stay empowered to grow and thrive despite of what's happening in the world, right? And my partner and I, as I said before, we've actually shared those in a really cool, fun, and entertaining program called Mindset Mastery Code, which you can actually find at leapzonelearninglab.com. So, okay, so now what I want to do, as I said, I was going to keep it within 30 minutes. I'm well under 30 minutes here, which is great. So this is what I had to share with you today. And what I want to do now is we'll come back to this in a moment. What I want to do now is let's get some questions answered, a Q&A period. Let's get some coaching happening. Let's get some conversations happening here so that I can help you find ideas and get unstuck and really help you move forward with more confidence and gumption, regardless again of what's going on in your life and in your business. So I'm just going to unshare here, and I'll reshare that later. I'll have something to share a little bit later. But now let's turn our cameras on so that I can see everybody, because this is the time where I need to actually connect eye to eye here to ensure that everybody is also present and not, cooking up a storm or answering emails while you're listening. I hope you paid attention. There will be a test. I'm just kidding. And there will be no test. Okay. So I know that most of you or some of you have answered questions already. I've got a lot of these questions. I've made some highlights. But who, I will just by show of hand here, who is willing to go first in asking a question or getting a bit of coaching around a subject here, whether it's related to what I talked about or not? There's no holds barred. I'm a business coach, branding coach, marketing coach. So there's no holds barred here. I saw your hand, Andrea. So we'll start with you. So what I'm going to ask you is, I believe I've seen your question. However, I'm going to ask you to succinctly give me your question or what you would like some help with. And then I may ask you for a little bit more context. Don't start with the context, start with what I should be thinking about. But first, I want to know what's one thing that resonated with you or that really connected with you from what I've shared today so far.
Well, lots of things you mentioned really connected with me. I do definitely believe that crisis is an opportunity. So I'm actually excited about change. I know many people don't like change, but I actually enjoy the challenge.
Good.
My biggest question, and I don't know if it was in my written notes, but it's based on what you talked about today. So let's say, I'm the type of person that I come up with a lot of new ideas. I'm like really passionate. I've got like all this like, yeah, let's go. And the rest of the team is like, no, right? Like, what do you do when, others are not on the same page? Like, how do you help people get into the mindset that you're talking about? Like, how do you help others when you're there? You're like, come on, everybody, let's go. And they're like, maybe later.
But when you say, this is a good question, thank you. When you say other people are just not on the same page as you, do you mean is it your employees, your colleagues? Like, who are you talking about here? Your clients?
I think everyone, because we're all, and I think we all change daily, right? So I think even myself, there's days where I'm feeling super motivated, and then there's days where I'm like, I'm the person that doesn't want to do anything new. So I'm not just talking about others. It's like, I guess, just managing the fact that we're all going through these cycles at different times. So for example, on a day where I'm full of ideas and I'm like brainstorming, and then somebody else might be in a different place where they're like, no, I just want to focus on the survival. And then, it flip-flops. So it's helping our clients get excited about, quote, the future, even though the future is uncertain. It's helping our team get excited about the future without taking on too much. One of my biggest I'm very self-aware of my own problems. And one of my biggest problems is overcommitting. So it's like, it's great to come up with ideas, but I think it's also very important to stay focused. And like you said, in order to achieve success, we have to like keep that positive mindset. And
Yes.
I guess it's about sustaining the positive mindset
Uh-huh.
when everybody's going. So maybe that's the key word, is like, because we're all going on this roller coaster and some days it's better than others, but how do you sustain it and keep focused when you think you figured it out and then there's a new challenge, and then the next week there's another new challenge, and you know, that
Yes.
sort of thing.
Okay, so let me help you with that.
Okay.
Hopefully this will be also super helpful. I saw some head nodding, yes, Dirk, and you know, people going, yes, I understand, me too. Okay, so first of all, there's my brain is just exploding with a bunch of things. Yeah, I'm going to try to just make this as succinct and clear for you as possible. There is a cost for doing something, and there's a cost for not doing something. Right. So there's always an opportunity. There's always a cost to any opportunity. We call those trade-offs, right? No matter what the opportunity is, even if it's amazing and it's like going on the Oprah show, there is a trade-off to every opportunity. So the key here is, one, you need to be very clear as to where you're going as a team with your clients. Where, if it's about your client, then where is your client going? They have to really hang on to what they're doing, where they're going, and why they're going there. See, the desire for impact or the desire to help has to be stronger than the fear of doing so, in all types of different examples. So first, you gotta, if it's your team, you gotta really refocus your team around what is it that you're doing, why you're doing it this way, and why it's important. Like, what is the cost of doing it versus the cost of not doing it? And when people understand that, they can buy in more, because it's a fact. You're like, well, we're way better off if we do this than if we don't do that. Would you not agree? Right? And so if you can all agree to facts, then it's way easier to actually stay focused on what matters. And the other key is, every company should have, and this is something that I talk about often around brand positioning, every organization and company should have a very clear brand foundation. How do we want to leave people feeling? What is our brand promise? What makes us the first, the best, or the only? Where are we going? You know, what does success look like to us? What are our core values or manifesto? What do we live? What are the factors, the core value that we live by? A lot of people have these things written, and I've worked with the large organizations, and they say, yeah, we have that written somewhere on our website, but they actually don't live it every day. So to stay in the state of positivity, I suggest that you put if you have all your parts of your brand foundation figured out, or for your clients, put them all in a jar, and then every day or every week, you know, pick one of those, and as a team, discuss how you are living this and how you're not living this, to actually make some elevation around commitment for people to live this, but also really having the space to talk about what is going well, what is not going well, what is missing. And I would say that the biggest skill, there are many skills of being entrepreneurs. You know, as we're entrepreneurs, we have to solve problems. We have to persuade people to work with us. We have to, like, there's so many things that we need to do and be masters at. The key, two things very important: understanding why someone should choose you instead of anyone else. That's client focused. And internally is about persuasion. How are you masterful at persuading people to do what you want them to do, while having them feel like the idea is coming from them almost, and then they're all excited to actually partake in the idea. So I am in the process of recording a course around persuasion, because it is absolutely vital. And I share a lot of the key ingredients to really help people be persuasive, because at the end of the day, as an entrepreneur, you need to be influential. And you cannot be influential if your mindset is in the gutter. So think of mindset like an ocean under tow. If you could be 100 people in a boat rowing east and want like all force, But if the undertow of the ocean is going west, I don't care how hard you row, you're going west. So I want you to think of your mindset as exactly like that. So focusing on what you want, not what you don't want. I have a little jar on my desk, and it's called my money jar. This is a week's worth. There's only 2 quarters in here. This is very, very, very potent right here. This could be the whole thing of the whole hour spent together right here. So I have a little jar. I haven't created a good, I've just put a post in a money jar. So here's the thing. If you worry about something for more than 13 seconds, the order has been placed in the universe. So every time that I worry about something for more than 13 seconds is not long, but it's long enough. So I know what it feels like now. I will put a quarter in this jar. In the last 10 days, there's only 2 quarters in here. This is huge for me. Remember, I'm the one with the talk on worry, right? So I'm a master. And so now I'm at a place where there's only 2 quarters in here in about 10 days, because every time I worry about something, I go, I've got 5 seconds to worry about it. I worry about it for 5 seconds. I give it all I got. I sweat it, like, and then I go, remove, because it's not going to do anything for you, right? So being of influence requires your mindset to be, I always say at Leap Zone, get your head out of your ass. This is what I say. So by getting your head out of your ass, that requires to have an outstanding mindset. And for that, you have to have habits. You have to have habits to become more influential, and persuasion is part of that. So I could go on and on and on and on about that for a couple of hours, but let me ask you, Andrea, was this helpful? And from here, is there something else that you want to clarify from what I've said?
That was very helpful. Thank you. That's giving me a lot to think about. I like the word habits. I've been doing a lot of research on that. I'll let other people take up some more time, but I'm going to think more about what I would be curious for you to maybe share some 1 or 2 habits that you feel are really powerful. So. Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now. And this is key. When I wake up, first of all, I wake up at 4. You don't have to wake up at 4. Doesn't have to be a habit of, some people are morning people. I'm a morning person. But within 1 hour of waking up, this is what I do. And it's in my calendar. If I was to share my calendar, it's at 5 a.m. because within 1 hour I do specific things. But at 5 a.m. I have it in my calendar. I meditate for 20 minutes. I have an affirmation about what I do want, what my purpose is in life. I'm very clear on that. And I recorded my affirmation in a really cool jazzy kind of mini meditation. So I listen to my own self every morning. And most importantly, I do not look at emails within 1 hour of waking up, ever. This is a surefire way of screwing up your entire day. How many times have you gone to your email and then 4 hours has gone by? You were going there to write an email to someone and then it exploded because suddenly you saw a problem, you saw something that you feel like you need to answer right away, right? So do something for yourself to get inspired in the morning. So meditate, yoga, go for a walk. You can listen to a podcast or a TED Talk, but no social media, no technology other than for learning and for inspirational purposes within 1 hour of waking up. Your life will take a turn for the better. I promise. I would bet my whole retreat center in the newspaper.
Thank you.
Okay, nice. I'm glad that was helpful. Okay, who else has a question that would like to leverage my expertise or my assistance on? That is it? No. Impossible. Andrea, by the way, I saw you, Leah. Perfect. Andrea, kudos for going first. Leah, go ahead. I am all yours.
Okay. I didn't have a specific question, but I want to keep this thing rolling. This is great. So I've been in business for over 16 years, and we're at a point now we're growing. And I've always had this magical number in my head that I've wanted to create in revenue that I haven't been able to break through. And, you know, I feel like I'm working on it every day. I feel like I'm doing the right things, but this kind of mythical number, I'm not able to break through on that. And I don't know if it's fear that's holding me back, fear of, you know, another level of commitment, or if it's patience, but it's been, you know, 16 years, it's still working on it.
Yeah. Okay. And let me ask you, how far are you from that number?
Probably about halfway. And I have incremental growth year over year over year over year, including this year. But at this rate, I'm going to be like 60 or 70 before I hit that magical number, because I'm just incrementally going up, 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 up. But it's going to be a long road if I follow the same
pattern. Yeah, exactly. So, you know, some of the things that we do at Leap Zone is help people 5x, 10x, 3x. But there's an equation for these things. So there's 3 P's: personality, performance, positioning, personality, performance. So your business has to be positioned first as the first, the best, or the only. Very, very important. Then the personality of your business has to actually be one of influence and one of, you need to hear more from your clients. I would be a fool to do business with anyone else but you, regardless of price, period. Right? So positioning, personality, and then performance. Within these 3 P's, with any business, I don't care what industry you're in. I hear a lot of, yeah, our industry is different. No. Yes, it's different on some reasons, some levels, but a business architecture is a business architecture. And what you need to 10x, 5x is very specific. So if we were to somehow work together one-on-one, I'd look under the hood really as to it's a combination of things. It's never like one big missing thing. It's usually a combination of a few dials. And the dials that are within the 3 P's, there are 8 key areas for growth. I'm not going to tell them all, but you know, sales and marketing is one of them. Money and KPI is another. Brand and culture is another. Strategy and organization, systematization. There's probably things in all 8 key areas that need to be tweaked and elevated for you to be like a boomerang, like it's, you know, not a boomerang, a slingshot. You know, you're kind of like slinging right now, and we need to find the equation for you to be able to go. And I guarantee you, it's within the 3 P's and it's within the 8 key areas for growth. And so I would encourage you to, if you go on our website, this is all free, by the way. If you go on our website and you actually go to our contact us page, there's a needs assessment button. If you fill out the needs assessment, you'll have a conversation with me and possibly Luciano but you'll have a conversation with us, and we can really look at where my spidey senses is telling me that the issue lies, and then we can actually put a plan together to help you get to where you want to get a hell of a lot faster. I'll say that I'm a coach, but I've been coached my entire life. So literally since year 1, I've been coached. And as a result of that, I have 10x a few times. And I would not be where I am today had it not been for having other people that are not in the same pickle jar as I am, right? Because we all have a pickle jar. And when you're in the pickle jar, you can't see the label. That's just normal, right? If you're in the picture frame, you can't actually see the picture. So it's a combination of what is in our Leap Zone trifecta. I'm willing to bet my retreat center on that. So, but one thing that I would tell you to start looking into is, first, I would ask yourself, what do you think? You know, where do you think there's the biggest either tether? Because as a small business owner, we're all tethered somehow to things we don't need to be tethered. So there's a tether holding you back somewhere. It might be mindset. It might be literal structural. But I'd like for you to ask yourself, you know, if I had a gun to my head and I had to answer this question, What are the top 3 things I feel are slowing me down? Write those down. And I'd love to know what those are if you decide to fill out the needs assessment. And the second thing is I would look at what makes you the first, the best, or the only? Like, why would I choose to work with you, buy your product or your service, even if your competitors are that much cheaper? What is the answer to that? Answering that. And I listen, I worked with, last week, we did a 2-day retreat with a big engineering firm, and their they've never had an X factor. They've grown to be multi-million-dollar firm. But what we did together in that retreat last week will 10x them in a very short period of time. But it's as a result of having the right ingredients in the right order to really catapult yourself forward. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yeah. And I think my tether is structural. And what I've done is I'm going back to the foundations of our company and backfilling all those pieces that we don't have, because I believe in order for us to grow, that foundation needs to be completely solid. So I'm trying to do that before the summer, because I think we're going to explode in the summer.
Yeah.
But thinking of why we're the first, best, the only one of the exercises I have to do is bring in the brand and the culture that's grown organically and really hammer that out.
Yeah.
And lean more. Like I'm a huge advocate of coaching. I've had executive coaches, and I have trainers, and I know that I'm not going to be able to get to that next level by myself with my own brain. Yeah. So totally in with what you said.
Nice. And I think the biggest difference between Leap Zone and another coaching or branding agency, for example, is that we are all 3. We understand and teach and train and coach around branding, around marketing, and around actual structural business growth. So that's what makes us different. That's our X factor, right? So instead of hiring a bunch of different people where the left hand doesn't talk to the right hand, you have all of that within one organization and one team that actually can help you with all these things. So Leah, I hope that we'll have a chance to potentially continue this conversation.
And if that happens, we will have a deadlifting competition.
Nice.
Very close to, I think I forget my last biggest, but it's over 225.
Nice. Good for you. That's great. Good job. All right. So I hope that was helpful for you. Let me just go back to, we'll continue this conversation here in a moment. I want to be respectful of 1 o'clock. I know that some of you will have to leave at 1. I'm more than happy to stay a little longer after 1 o'clock to continue answering questions. But what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to share and give you a couple of tools to help you move the needle forward here. So first, I want to talk about your next step. So your next step, in order to find new cheese, you got to operate with more curiosity than fear. Because being an entrepreneur, as you know, comes with important responsibilities. One of them is to create products and services that actually make life better, right? In good times and especially in bad times. As entrepreneurs, we also need to master the art of creating, evolving, and reinventing ourselves all the time. We need to be masters at persuasion and masters at always looking for creating new sources of cheese. Even though there's a beautiful pile of cheese here, where could there be a new source of pile of cheese? Because this pile of cheese will eventually dry out, right? Because make no mistake, this is super important here. All ears open on deck. Your prospects and clients are going to buy. They will buy. The question is, will they buy you? Or will they buy someone else, right? And what do your clients and prospect need the most right now? What is that? What can you offer them that would make life better? How can you offer your products and your genius a bit differently? That's the process of creation, innovation, and reinvention. And that's way easier said than done, I know. And that's what I do for a living. And I have people to help me do that for myself. Because as I said, when you're in the frame, you can't see the picture, right? So I've said I was going to give you a couple of opportunities. One opportunity is, as I said to Leah, is to get on a call with us. So if you go to leapzonestrategies.com/rise, this is a direct link to our needs assessment. And we can hop on a free 30-minute clarity session where we can literally identify the single biggest point of leverage for you to find new sources of cheese. And we're very good at detecting these things. You might go, you can't detect that in 30 minutes. We can do it in less. So I guarantee you'll walk away from something you can use immediately and start attracting more business, more clients your way. So that's number one. Number two is the opportunity to access this game-changing and super entertaining program, which I think we all need right now. We need to have more fun. We need to lighten up. And my partner and I have created this program with love, attention, and intention. We make people laugh, yet we make people take actions, different actions, to actually better their lives. And so these are part of the 12 pivotal habits and strategies that are going to completely change the way you operate and change your life. So if you're being called to raise your vibrations, to grow and shift towards a higher level of consciousness, and then this is definitely for you. So if you want, you can go to leapzonelearninglab.com and you'll see the Mindset Mastery Code there. It is peanuts for what it's going to give you and the fun that you're going to have with it. So Learning Lab. And then I'm just going to leave it to, these are my information to connect with me, leapzonestrategies.com, leaptv.com. And for those of you who are interested in learning how to become the first, the best, or the only, we have a few ways to do that. We have a one-on-one way. We also have a program called Build to Rock, and it's right here. Buildtorock.com is designed specifically to help you become the first, the best, and the only, and really catapult your growth. So I'm going to leave this here. I'm going to unshare, and I want to continue. If you guys need to go, I totally get it. I'm more than happy to answer a couple more questions and continue the conversation for those of you who are interested in leveraging my genius and my time here. So who is willing to go next?
Hang on, Isabelle. Sorry, Luciano here. I work with Isabelle. I think Mark needs to.
Yes, thank you for reminding me of that. Mark, take it away.
Yes. Thank you so much, Isabelle. Thank you for bringing your passion and your knowledge. Such great information. I mean, I know for myself, I can get so stuck in looking at the structure of things, the skill, the craft, but it's so easy to forget about mindset. And that's definitely been top of mind. So thank you so much on behalf of Telus and the Chamber. Kim?
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thank you.
I'm going to see if anybody else has any questions they want to bring forward to Isabelle, or if they're going to save them up for that 30-minute session. But if you have something now, please bring it forward. We have Isabelle at her peak on the hour here. This morning I was feeling a little lackluster, a little sluggish, as I tend to get at the end of the week as we go through COVID week 50, I think we're at now. But this certainly has been the cure for that feeling of sluggishness and lackluster attitude that I had this morning. So on my part, I'd like to thank you so much, Isabelle, for supercharging this session. And as soon as I'm off this, I'm ordering the book, Who Moved My Cheese? I just love the metaphor. I love the concept. So I look forward to that. And anybody else have any questions or comments they want to bring forward? Just throw your hand in the air. And
yeah, it could be a gem or an insight as well. I always like to know what resonates with people. I see Sarah's hand up. Let's, I don't have power to unmute you or do anything, Sarah, but go ahead. Can someone unmute Sarah? While this is happening, I'm going to just say that for those of you who actually filled out the questions and that I have here, that was Connie, Andrea, you had Darlene. When I look at what are the things that are that make you the first, the best, or the only, none of those are 10x worthying. So to really look at what it is that actually makes you, why would someone hire you or buy you instead of anyone else? None of those that were written there were actually worthy of massive growth. And I'm not saying this out of judgment. I'm saying this to help the needle move forward, right? Yeah, go ahead, Charlene. Cheryl.
Okay. Hi. Well, what you just said, maybe you can elaborate a bit more. Is it just looking at how you look at your capabilities and how you project them to your clients? Because what you just said, maybe it's how they're communicating to their clients. Is that, how would you approach? I'm sort of asking you a clarity question here, okay? Because I filled out the form too.
Yep.
Okay, so I wonder.
So the key here is there's two front. It's to be able to well communicate to your clients what makes you different. But in order to clarify, in order to communicate clearly, you have to be darn clear yourself, right? If you're not clear about this, there's no way you're going to be able to succinctly and potently communicate this. So the key is to look at what are the top of mind problems of your clients right now and prospects, and really, 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 really good at. And here's an analogy. I'm going to give you an analogy. And this is the pen analogy, and it's my favorite analogy because people understand it. So you have a bunch of things that you offer, and you have that in your business being the pencil case. So you offer a bunch of things, and it's all here. And what you need to be able to see is the red pen in your pencil case is super unique. You wouldn't see that because to you, it's not unique. You've been doing this, you're masterful, so it's not really unique to you. But to me, and as I see it as a brand specialist, I go, there's a gem right here. There's something in here. So the key is to take what you already have and give and do so well, and then communicate it and position it in such a way that it becomes the tipping point for why people buy you instead of someone else. And so I have a presentation called, and maybe I can be re-invited back. I'm just, crashing my own party here and just going, I'll come back. That's called Position Your Brand to be the first, the best, or the only. And so it's how to position your brand to be the first, the best, or the only. And literally that's what I do talk about in there, right? And so last week, the work that we did with this engineering firm, they already had a red pen in their pencil case. I just went, oh my God, if you repositioned and organized this way instead of this way with this red pen, instead of losing money on your business, you can 10x your business. And they just about had a mic drop moment. And so, yes, you're right. It's about communicating what you do that's different so that the clients and prospects can go, where the hell have you been all my life, right? But in order to communicate that clearly, you got to know what that is. And that is precisely what we help companies do, either on a one-on-one, or that's what Build to Rock is about. Build to Rock is about walking you through step by step the entire brand foundation so that you can actually position yourself with influence, impact, and gumption. So is that helpful?
Yes, and I think also what you said earlier, which really resonated with me, is that there has to be a review, that we're constantly reinventing, being more creative. I like the versatility in my work, but that also creates challenges, but I also like challenges. So I get along through this okay, but I think when you use the red pen example for me to see, and maybe I'm not seeing that, but also to know that for me, I look at my clients, does that red pen apply to them? Because I'm contractual. So I sometimes am working with groups of people. So I try to understand and listen to their language and how they communicate so that we can connect and be on sort of the same page. But you really resonate. The habits, I think, are really important. And also that to look and see that red pen may be different for different clients, right?
The red pen is different for different clients. However, your red pen is the same. So your red pen is the same. It's how you communicate this. You wouldn't talk to a 18-year-old male as the same problem as a 98-year-old male. Yet they're both males, right? But but your differentiator is a non-negotiable. This does not change. Your brand foundation does not change. Your mission, your values, your promise, your premise, none of that changes. What changes is how you communicate it so the right people understand it right.
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
Cool.
that's the fun part.
Yes,
Yeah.
that is the fun part. And that is that. Again, I could say so much more, but I also want to be respectful of the chamber's time and you guys' time. So I'm gonna, if there's no hot pressing items here, I will just give the mic back to the Nanaimo chamber and see where he takes this.
Well, you're a hard act to follow, Isabelle. I'm sure it's not the first time that you've heard that. I want to thank you so much for today. And yes, we will be repeating the experience. It'll be different next time. It'll be different each of the times that we manage to get together here. We're looking at scheduling our next session. I'm so intrigued to hear more about the first, the best, and the only. And I'm so pleased that you offered the 30-minute session with yourself one-on-one. I think everybody should take you up on that offer and jump on or to do the needs assessment as well. So leapzonestrategies.com is where we find you. And I'm going to bid everybody goodbye. Thank you very much for your time today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as we did. Mark is waving, giving us the Telus wave over in the corner here. Good to see that. Thank you so much to Telus for being so supportive and so much assistance in putting this together. I'm energized. Give me the rest of my day. Let's get to work here.
Nice. I love it. That's, we always strive to leave people feeling on fire and unstoppable. That's our mission, our internal mission. And rarely do we fail at that. It happens, but rarely.
I don't think you failed today. I think you knocked it out.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. And thank you to everybody. We will distribute a link to this recording so you can go back and watch your favorite parts over and over again, and that you can share it with your friends, your family, your colleagues around the office, around the shop, wherever you are. Everybody have a really great day. Stay safe, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you.